In, and this is Eclipses versus Echelon Game 1 in this January 2017 Star Battle X Open Tournament. I'm joined by Abra,
Hello, hello.
Helveticano,
Hi.
and Delta 9.
Buongiorno.
So this should be an exciting game. There were, I believe, several people regard Eclipses as the favorite team, but Echelon did have some solid games against them in the qualifier, so the upset is highly possible. And so
Yes,
we'll be
Echelon,
seeing
one of the newer teams to come together for this tournament, has some good players from old Star Battle teams and some newer players who haven't played any tournaments at all.
Yep. So in the bottom left, we have Echelon with Trees going a side lane Void Ray, opening Nova and 300 energy. Stem Zealot going mid lane Dreadnought. Hull 1 armor 1 Gats. Zoltan mid lane Arbiter going feedback. War standard Colossus build 4-3. There is a Raven hiding underneath War, so I can't click on his upgrades, but I'm gonna guess he has Imp. And Unknown Jedi going side lane Carrier with 5 Imps.
He does have EMP.
Alright.
Alright. At the top, we have Triple Q and a Void Ray with a 2 laser, 2 shield open.
Oh, it's my opening. I used to do that all the time.
It's going against the Nova, so we'll see how that'll do. They also have Silver and War Alistair, Silver on BC, and War Alistair on Plague. Both have Kite open, and Luigi with a OV on Plague. Should Plague open Feedback, Standard, and Beggy open Charges at the bottom.
Kind of shot plays kind of cut over and switched with Ice for just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like they're giving their support the bottom lane. Oh, Void Ray warps in.
That was a quick switch over from the border from top to bottom with the warp. The arm placed it right in the right position, and Beggy Ice has just taken the top. I believe that the red team could have taken a little bit of advantage over this swap, but I think they decided to just hold the cloud.
This is one of the first games we've seen the whole tournament where we have a Void Ray against a Void Ray in the same game. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Void Ray and a Carrier and 2 supports, I would expect the red team to get pushed most likely here. That is a weak first opening. Would you guys agree?
Well, at the same time, there's 1 tank versus 2 tanks, so, you know, it's...
Oh, that is true.
Yep.
I think that often I would feel that Carrier and Void Ray in the same composition is going to make for a very passive opening. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to push, even with the difference in tanks here. Because they really have no sustained DPS, right? There's no missile boats at all. There's no... I mean, the only ship with rockets on the entire team is War for Echelon. So that's an interesting composition choice.
Oh, look at the ECL. They're backing off very quickly, very early. They're not sticking around to see what the upgrades are and what's happening here.
Yeah, 4 minutes seems exceptionally early. Usually, I think teams can usually hold the push until 4 o'clock, or 4:30 rather.
They are 100 up in farm. So maybe they're just happy to take the farm lead and upgrade and come back.
It seems like Echelon may have expected Eclipses to field a Carrier, and they wanted to get into an interceptor war with the Void Ray as kind of a wild card ship. But War Alistair, who's gone Carrier frequently during this tournament, did not this game.
I've also seen Luigi occasionally run the Guardian or the Dreadnought. I've not really seen him on Overlord very often, I don't think. So that's
Yeah, and Echelon's composition here doesn't look like they're very well equipped to handle a Void Ray. They've only got 2 deny. We'll see how well they do against the Void Ray. I don't know if they've actually faced the Void Ray for the tournament yet.
Raven Arbiter can work well though, because the Void Ray really needs to get onto the Void Ray to kill it, and ideally the Arbiter picks up Cloak. So it seems like really Echelon is going for a very, very late game oriented composition with the potential of the late game Void Ray and the late game Carrier. But we'll have to see if they can get there. Both comps are actually very late game oriented in a way, with the Overlord and the Void Ray.
War Alistair has picked up Ion, and he is using it as fast as he can.
So it's interesting
blue
that the
team?
side lane Desi Baggy Ice against the Void Ray has picked up more gats, less focused on tankiness, just so he can push his side lane. And yeah, speaking of Luigi on the Ovi, I think their standard Ovi is generally Eddie, but since Eddie is not playing, he's not here tonight on for ECL, I think Luigi just generally fills in the spots that other people would not be able to play or would not generally play.
User joined your channel.
QQQ already has Chrono Rift to give Unknown Jedi a hard time with his ints.
Let's give a welcome to Greater Ninja, who has blessed us with his presence. How's it going, Greater?
Oh man, I got this really nasty cold. I'm so fucking hungover. Oh. I'm just kidding. Hey guys.
We are casting the Echelon ECL game right now.
Oh sweet.
Stim coming out with Protective Field, War Hardened Shield, Zoltan, Cloak, 425 energy, Trees, 8 beam, 0.36 speed on the beam.
User left your channel.
Snow, 350 energy. I think he's really struggling to get farm. Yeah, he's only at 80. And Unknown Jedi, the highest farm ship on the team, with 8 Ints and Tempests. The Tempests are level 7.
That is...
So blue team is trying to hold the cloud, but they don't have a tank here. They're going to try to do their best with DPS. Oh, the cloak is really messing with them.
Yeah, the Cloaked Tempests for the push into the cloud. I like it. This is a solid push right here. And they need a push because they are down 200 farm.
A solid push with Hardened Shield on the Colossus. If you remember our game earlier, the Colossus did not get Hardened Shield until about 30 minutes into the game. Now we have a pre-10-minute Hardened Shield.
Yeah, a lot of Colossus get Hardened Shield on really the first back, really at the 4-minute mark, so that you can come out and use the Hardened Shield against the first wave of siege creeps.
That's an interesting observation, yeah.
Trees occasionally wasting Novas here, but yeah, I feel like Nova can be a, it's not as strong in this version as it has been in some others, where it's very hard to keep the Nova on one shot farm deny, right? Usually you have to do 2 Novas on your own farm to deny. Otherwise you just soften them up for the enemy.
Right.
But looking at the two teams' Void Rays, looks like Triple Q has 100 farm more than Triz, which is pretty much the farm disparity against the team. So the blue Void Ray is farming slightly better.
Ooh. QQQ has already gone into Cloak and he just got EMP'd right now, but I think that gets him, allows him to get into positions that you wouldn't otherwise. I think he's spreading himself thin.
Well, he has to get Chrono Rift, right? Because he's worried Unknown Jedi is going to come back with level 14 or 15 ints or something, and he needs to have the Chrono Rift ready for when that happens.
Well, so that's it. So he got the Chrono Rift, he got the Cloak, he got the Blink, he got the Energy Nova, he's got a little bit of energy, he got some shields, and he's got he's got more lasers than he has beams. So it looks to me like he's trying to be more of a utility Void Ray than a kill Void Ray here, because he's kind of spread thin all over the place. It doesn't look like he's going to go anywhere with that Cloak and kill anything.
I'm not sure that he's going to be casting too much more Nova. Really, he opened Nova, didn't he? No, he opened the 2 shield, 2 laser, that's right. So he picked up the Nova on top of the Chrono, basically to say he's going to really just hard deny the interceptors, I guess. And
That's a good way to start off anyway. He has time to build into a stronger DPS ship later.
Alright, well...
Triz has 9 beam and charge right now. He's slightly more deadly than QQQ.
Did they know about that illusion that everybody was focusing down in the middle there?
It's hard to say. I mean, there's no observer, certainly. They could have just figured that. They could have looked at damage and inferred that it was a fake.
I'm not sure that they did. But they do have
Speaking of observer, red team does have one.
But it's not in the cloud of the other team, is it?
It is by their towers. Seems like it was insurance in case I die from taking.
Well, it seems like our spectators would like us to name the cunt of the game. So, someone said
Might be a
that
little bit too early to pull that one off.
we're underusing the word cunt, and we should. So we'll have to determine by the play here. But what are your predictions, guys? I think everybody wants to know this. Start with Crazy.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean,
Based on the
Silver
first
is at
15 minutes of the game.
5 missiles, and the Raven already picked up PDD, and he doesn't have lockdown yet. So that does put him at risk for that nomination. But we'll have to see how smoothly he transitions. He has 500 minerals. When he next goes back, he can pick up lockdown and a fair amount of energy. At that point, he will be very painful for pretty much everything on the enemy team. There's no Zerg ships, right? Yeah, this is... He has a plethora of options when it comes to lockdown. Pretty much no bad targets for lockdown here, yet needs to focus the supports first. But even the carrier and the Dreadnought and Colossus, just everything is a good target for lockdown here.
Notice that the carrier has picked up Vortex early. It means that they are trying to get insurance.
Yeah, as I said, they're really focusing on the late game, so anything that gets them to that late game, anything that slows down the rate at which they can be at risk of dying to the enemy team is going to be good for them. We're going to have a little bit of a warp in here. Silver coming in, War Alistair coming in, trying to get Stim Zealot in this situation.
And Vortex.
And there's the Tex. And
There's
the
a
other
BC
ships
in
are
the
actually
Tex.
not committing. QQQ did not commit to this warp in. Shotpig did not commit to this warp in.
Yeah, I think they might have been waiting for some success on a push, and when the text came down, they decided not to go with it right away.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say, Crazy, that I agree with you. And the later this game goes, I think probably the comp of the red team is favored. However, it's hard to say if they're gonna hold up that long, because they're already 400 farm behind. And it looks like they're intimidated, even with their 2 tanks over 1 tank and their 2 supports. They should be able to be relatively safe, but it seems like they're being intimidated to stay in their base, and that's probably keeping them
Yeah, I mean,
low
they
on
basically
farm.
have to push with the Tempest, right? Because they have no other way to push up, because they have no consistent damage. So even though they have the 2 tanks, those 2 tanks can't push because they're not doing enough damage to intimidate the other team. So they can only push when Jedi's Tempests are there. The Tempests do a fair amount of damage, of course. It gets mitigated by hallucinations and other miscellaneous things.
You said doo-doo.
Wow.
Alright.
Yeah, so getting back to our cunt of the game discussion, I think that Jedi is going to be the cunt of the game. I mean, usually Jedi's a pretty cunty player, and
Wow.
in this position where he's playing carrier, he's definitely going to be a thorn in the side of Eclipse's quest to control this map.
Oh, so the cunt of the game is the most annoying player on the enemy team, not the one who is most likely to derp. I'm not sure I understand sort of where you're going with
I
it.
would have taken it the crazy way that they're most likely to derp, but I mean, it looks...
It could go either way.
It could go either way, yeah. Yep.
Most annoying for the enemy or most likely to derp?
This is
Now, the
interesting
question is-
positioning here with ice. Warp in
Question
on
about
ice.
Shapig, though. Shapig with his phantoms, I think that's pretty
Ooh,
annoying.
there's stuff going on at the bottom, guys.
I've
And the
seen
Tex
another
is
Vortex.
out. Alistair is out of the Tex.
I've seen so many feedbacks and so much damage put on those illusions that it almost seems like they paid themselves off like 10 times over.
Silver warps in and Alistair.
Now, this is the
A little
second
bit of
time
engage
where
here. It doesn't
Echelon
seem like
has
it's going to be...
utilized the vortex and then failed to push past it to try to isolate the ship in the vortex.
Yeah, that's a very good observation on that.
Yeah.
This is
tend
the
to
second
agree.
time they just put somebody in text and did not utilize it to its...
Something else,
Potential.
you're commenting on Void Ray versus Void Ray earlier. Is this one of our first Arbiter versus Arbiter games. Like, I feel like almost every other game I've seen, it's been Ravens.
Well, they have a Raven too on the bottom.
Oh, they're pushing on tower, guys. This is kind of early. The Destro was not really in position to push on the tower, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, they were threatening it. They were saying you have to come out now. You can't set up a warp trick, because if you set up a warp trick, we're going to kill your tower. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not a commitment to the tower, but it's just getting enough damage on it that they have to come out directly.
They might also be saying that next time we bring our Destro and our Void Ray there, that tower's going down.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what Tries is doing here, but he's been sitting under the base for... Oh, he's warping out now. He was
He was waiting for his warp cooldown to finish.
Okay.
That might take a little bit too long. But
So,
yeah,
looking at
Tries
the
is
Void Rays
only
again,
at 0.31, and Q already has 0.21 on his
Beam on the
Q's doing
Arbiter.
a lot of damage right now. Even with
They
his
are
only
having a
unit
hard
4.
time getting QQQ off the Arbiter. Okay.
Void-
Arbiter
Void
gets away
Edge-
with 2,000
Void
life.
Edge,
Stim, 7,000 in this fight.
I'm not too sure that the Arbiter should have actually cloaked the ships around him as he's being targeted by the Void Ray. That
Nice
just makes it easier
4,000
for everybody
cloak.
to single him
Silver's
out.
not in the cloak. Alright.
And Echelon manages to push Eclipse back to the cloud at least.
farm differential is 600 at this point.
Well,
and
it's not just the 600, right? It's also that Echelon has a very thirsty comp. The lower the ints are, the less of a threat they are. He's really... he's still in one shot, but the main emphasis is really on those Tempests. He's not threatening the support with his interceptors at this stage of the game.
I was just going to say, comparing the Void Rays, QQQ has double the farm that Trace does at this point. And being one of the side lane ships, this is going to start to come into play right about now.
QQQ going
Right
back with
about
600. We'll see if his beam is as high as Tree's. Tree's really not needing to focus as much on
Oh yeah,
Chrono or
he just
energy.
dumped that into beam and energy. Is going to be warping
Oh,
in
he's warping
and
in
going
with
to
a
town.
charge. He's
Up
already
top,
charged.
He's taking out a support right there. He's charged.
He won Zoltan. Snow Snow picked up PDD instead of Defensive Matrix, which means that this Cloak Raven combination isn't working as well for them as they'd like, right? He needs Matrix to protect the Arbiter. Otherwise, if the Arbiter dies, then he's next, right?
That or blackout, probably.
Yeah, he goes back to 500. What does he spend it on? Blackout. You called it.
Interesting fact here. Did you guys notice that the siege creep at base, because the illusion of Beggy Ice was seen by the towers as being an illusion, the siege creep refocused itself on the real ships?
Oh, awesome! I didn't know that. But interesting, you pointed out that those illusions have paid for themselves many times over, based on the damage they have spun down.
They seem to be the primary counter to Tempest here. And to EMPs and feedback. Look at that feedback.
Alistair with Rip Wave, and no rapid reload.
Ooh.
We see Eclipses here holding the cloud with 4 light ships, and Echelon could push in with their 2 tanks. They're just kind of hanging out on their side of the map right here, not really making a move on the cloud.
I think they're just waiting for those Tempests to come. I think they understand that they're playing the late game comp. However, the problem is that I feel like they're not.
Things are happening in
Freeze
the middle.
is beaming the mid while QQQ threatens the carrier on the side. It's kind of hard to focus on both at the same time.
I feel like Unknown Jedi is going to die soon for QQQ.
2-pronged
Stim
attack.
is going up to threaten QQQ. It seems like an interesting choice because War is going to get pushed onto the cloud now.
The Colo, the Tempest, and the PDDs are holding the cloud all by themselves, but not anymore.
Well, it was with Stim there, right? As soon as Stim went up to chase the Void Ray, they pushed in.
I feel like Triz is not actually threatening here. He has 11 beam. He should be on Luigi, no problem.
Both he and Q are not very active. And
QQQ going in with Cloak to take out the
Yeah,
Tempest.
they're
2
both farming
Tempests
a lot.
just so that it's only 1, right?
Like he
can't spawn in more Tempests if there's still 1 alive. So he kills 2 and then blinks out.
nice.
but
Tries
Triz
might feel that his ship's not strong enough yet to take on Eclipses' composition and get a kill.
Triz has been sitting on full energy, full shields, full hull. I mean, now he just Nova'd a couple times, that's why he doesn't have energy, but other than that, he needs to make himself useful. Otherwise, they're falling behind. They're playing 5v6 effectively at this point.
Yeah, if this gets up to 1,000 different firm, I mean,
Yeah.
already 800 is
He's
pretty
just charging
significant.
on the side, but not actually.
QQQ's on Stim Zealot here.
QQ on Stim Zealot, that's right. Stim actually turns into it with Protective Field.
I don't think he should have turned there. I think that showed some strength and got the Void Ray off. He could have done a lot more damage by staying back.
Yeah, he doesn't have charges. Maybe he was trying to make the Void Ray think he had charges.
He was faking it out. Yeah, that's true.
Just want to point out that QQQ is farming like a boss.
Yeah,
He's
1,000
already at
farm
1,100
at
farm. That's
28
crazy.
minutes.
Not
He
even
has
a half hour
1,200 in the
game.
bank. He's gonna-
Notice, guys, they're all warping back together. Everybody's going back. Frigate is the only one that's not actually warping. I don't know why. Where
too good to
Alistair is
warp.
just... He's boosting. He says, I need my warp to be available to warp in an ion.
Could be. Tree still on 11 beam, 0.31 speed.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why did he not?
Zoltan's picked up Chrono. Boost. War picked up Guardian Shield, 475 energy.
ECL also has an ops now. Hanging around. Does anybody see the Echelon ops?
No.
Not at the moment.
Has it been destroyed?
I suspect it has. I didn't see it.
I'm not sure about Shapik's ops being there because it's going to get EMP'd eventually.
QQQ with 14 beam, 0.21 speed. Charging currently on Stim Zealot. There's a little bit of distance between Snow and the...
And blackout.
He blinks the blackout. Dodges the
Wow.
vortex.
Wow, that's some bad communication.
Yeah, I think that there was a breakdown in communication. The blackout and the vortex should not both be going down at
Well,
the same
that's
time.
the problem is when the captain is the one getting aimed at.
He just yells, "Ow!" and then everybody has to cover him, right?
This is the ops coming
War
into play.
is
Cloak
not
is not doing
cloaked.
anything.
Why
And
We're taking a lot of damage here. Is he going to
War
go down?
goes
Yes,
down.
he does.
Did Zoltan run out of energy? Is that what
Colossus goes
happened?
down.
I think Zoltan ran out of energy and could not maintain flow.
well, no, they have an ops. They have an
Oh,
ops.
right.
No, Zoltan's obs was destroyed. I can't find it.
So they must have known they killed the obs. Known that they had that window of opportunity to have obs dominance, push in and get the kill. Tree's trying to get some damage on Shopig, but gets scared off. Losing War was not a loss of a lot of farm, but it is nonetheless a big part of their pushing power. They'll never
Stim
have.
is going down
Like
here.
he's good on it too. He's
Stim
taking a lot of
now
damage.
needs to get in the cloak, and E-shields go down. If he
E-shield
goes
goes up.
down,
He's down. So
and
Echelon's
they
lost
have
both
now
of his
lost
tanks.
both tanks.
Well, there goes being tanky.
Pretty decisive shift in the game right there.
So I hear it's not the size that matters.
You lied.
Damn it. Well, if they were gonna play passive for the late game before, now they're put in a spot where they really can't afford to, but unfortunately I think they're not gonna leave their towers for a while.
They're double their farm essentially at this point. So
They really need tries to make a play.
I mean, Triz really needs to kill their Arb somehow if they want to get back in this.
Yeah, Luigi does not have spotter, so they have scan and they have the obs. Shopig's obs is at full energy.
If tries had been up closer to the cloud here, kind of stalking them, he could have jumped in and forced the ARB to not work.
That would have been
don't
a
have-
Just
they
kind
don't
of
have
playing back
radar.
still. They're not on their toes.
They do not have radar. Good observation.
Well, no, that's in reference to the red team's Void Ray. He can abuse his cloak slightly more than he's been doing.
Well, the blue Void Ray doesn't know that, but certainly red.
Luigi,
I think we're at
2,000
the
damage
two-
side blast, no spotter still, so it's still scan and obs for detection.
QQQ has 850 energy, 17 being a 0.21 speed.
He is
Oh.
a Fed Void Ray.
All the spells, 9
Whoa,
shields.
what is going on here? Tree is
Oh, that
trying to
Void
get
Ray
in.
is in trouble.
Cloaked.
There's an obs on him.
He can't blink.
He
He's
is
got off
revealed. The beam is on him.
And he just got
QQQ beam
siphoned.
is
It's
killing
over.
him,
He is-
and that is
Oh.
game effectively.
That
Even
is-
the blackout did not save him there.
One delayed blackout.
Well,
Snow
That
does
wasn't
now
a
have
change.
defensive matrix, but cast the blackout before the matrix. I think he was probably dead either way, based on the positioning.
So who do we think has been cunt of the game?
Triz. I'm gonna give it to Triz for not
I-
doing very much.
I will support that. Triz, I believe, has farmed freely, has been a Void Ray, and has been a thorn in absolutely no one's ass. Oh, and the only thing that goes down into that text is an illusion. As I think that text again tells the story of this game.
I do wonder about Snow going PDD instead of Matrix. You know, there's the BC for missiles, but, you know, more Alistair pretty much immediately had Rip Wave, and that's... So he's really only blocking Silver's 5 missiles. I think he would have gotten more out of the Matrix here. I mean, the idea was, of course, to do the PDD with the Tempest I know, so that the Tempest would do more damage, would be protected from lasers, but I don't think it's quite worth it. I think you push out with a stronger comp and have more dive capacity on the Void Ray if he has the Matrix, right? Otherwise, the Void Ray really just has to do everything himself and has no recourse if he gets into trouble.
Yep. Ice has siege on the Echelon base. Eclipsis is now cleaning it up for this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's practically nothing they can do here, right? I mean, it's just Tempests, which are highly predictable. The hallucination
ECL
takes
has-
all the damage from them, and
Yeah.
what else can they do? I mean, there's just nothing else.
QQQ has decided to stop moving his ship. He pretend. Oh wow!
What a bait.
Putting the EMP like a boss.
I will say QQQ is the master baiter when it comes to EMPs.
Definitely hated that one. Oh, there's the text again. Oh,
He
right
does
again.
get a ship this time.
He got the real ship.
So this is
Now,
a best of 3
QQ has
format.
some-
When this game ends, there will be ideally another game immediately afterward. The winner of this team goes on to the semifinals, and the loser of this bracket is eliminated from the tournament.
And the winner will go on to play the winner between TLOs and Red Alert, who is
No, I
still
don't
up
think
in the air
that's
at this
accurate.
point as well.
They go up against DPA, don't they?
Yeah, they go up
No.
against the winner of Salvo DPA, which was DPA.
Yeah, the
I
winner.
was pretty
the
sure
winner,
that. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Agreed,
this
agreed.
is bracket.
Red
This is
Alert,
group
Yellow
4.
winner.
Sorry, apologies. Yes, that is true. So they go
Echelon's now
against
pushing
DPA
out.
themselves.
Getting a little bit of offensive here.
Now here, the Arb Sultan has full energy, but the Raven
Oh,
doesn't have full
Shapig!
shields.
Look at the heart made by Shapig all at once. Great. I like that. I like to see that little sass and you know, a little bit of art and creativity in the games.
I don't know
Did
what
you
you're
guys-
talking about. Heart?
You guys didn't see that? He made a heart out of force field.
Oh, no.
I was looking somewhere else, but no, I'm sorry. QQ on the Arbiters. Zoltan probably gonna. Oh, there's the blackout. He doesn't blink that one.
It doesn't need to apparently. Oh,
Vortex.
Ooh, the Vortex has quite a few in there.
caught
they're
some
all
real
going
ships,
in.
but it's not gonna do anything. I think it should be a party.
So they have so much energy that a single EMP does next to nothing at this point.
Well, does damage.
QQQ.
I mean,
Oh,
at
look
this
at the
point,
heart.
at this point, feedback. At this point, feedback is their highest burst damage.
If anybody's wondering, it's called a macro, guys. Well, it is a macro.
How he makes the heart?
Yep.
Doesn't he just shift command it?
So Echelon's mothership goes
No.
down, the game ends, Eclipse wins the first round, and goes up 1-0.
All right, thank you, Abra, Helveticano, and Delta 9 for casting with me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We'll see you in the next game, I guess.
Yep.